on in the programme, Ferrari has been pretty electric off the line for various technical reasons. So we'll keep an eye on 20 will leave the dummy grid. Let's hope we get 20 back to the actual grid. But this is going to be a day of attrition. This is going to be a race to survive, and with the biggest step change in the history of Formula One by some margin in technical terms.
Bernie Collins is at race control for us this afternoon. We've had the pre-season testing, Bernie, but this is the first race. New era, new regulations. How do you sort the strategy out today?
Yeah, I think it's going to be new strategy, Crofty, as well. And the teams are just so unsure how this is going to play out. Is it going to be a one-stop? Is it going to be a two-stop? How are the tyres going to perform under these cars? Not quite clear. What we do know is what some of them are starting with on the grid. It seems to be majority medium tyres at this stage.
Yeah, that's right. Medium, obviously, with the top 10. And then we go down to Franco Colapinto on the hard, Martin. Fernando Alonso on the soft, Carlos Sainz on the soft hard for Bottas and Verstappen. Verstappen wants to go long. Aston Martin with Alonso think we need a bit of soft tyre here.
There's been a bit of raining, and that means the top of the surface of the tyre sort of ripped, but two had it as well. And they cleaned it up further they went. So what is Charles Leclerc doing? He's just sitting there, brand new tyres on the grid. And that gives you the rubber that hasn't had a heat cycle gives you 2 or 3 meters. That's half a car length advantage. That's why they want to, and they've got to bed those in now during this lap. But yeah, the start's going to be critical. One thing that scares you one of the things that scares you as a racing driver is a car that doesn't get off the start line from standing starts.
And we saw as the drivers were pulling away, and they had to get to a high reps. Lewis Hamilton's gone wild to get going. Tech Pavic, as ever, down in the pit lane. Afternoon, Ted.
Hello, Crofty. Hello, Martin. Yeah, morning, everybody back in Europe. But the one issue in the Audi garage is that Nico Hulkenberg is going to try and start the Grand Prix from the pit lane. They lost communication with his car as it went to the grid. They were trying to replace connectors and other electrical systems. I don't think they've had much success. So I'll keep an eye on it. They're going to try and start Hulkenberg's Audi from the pit lane, but it might not start the race at all.
So stories today. Max Verstappen, can he get somewhere near the top 8? That is Red Bull's aim from where he starts down in 20th. And don't forget, 2 podiums in 8 starts for Max in his career from 19th or lower. Last time out, Sao Paulo came third there from the pit lane. Cadillac, how long can they go into this race? In their debut race in Formula One, a year and a day since they got their entry. Can Aston Martin cope with a race? Can Kimi Antonelli cope with a front row start race? George Russell going into the first turn. And what can Isaac Andrew Lando Norris do in the top 6?
Absolutely. Any number of drivers could win this Grand Prix, and all of them can score points this afternoon. Colapinto already noted for starting procedure infringement. I wonder if you've got to stay at pit lane speed limit, 50 miles an hour, 80 kilometers per hour, until you pass pole position. So he's already under investigation. McLaren then with 1 car in the race now. And George Russell will want to back the pack up as much as he can, because he's going to be sitting on the grid well over half a minute. And then the extended grid start procedure, no doubt you'll cover something.
We're on the subject of packs and George Russell, his battery pack. He's claiming at the moment that it's not high enough, it's not topped up enough, and he's a bit concerned about the starts. So the pole sit.
Hello. Live.
To the first braking.
Welcome to the stream, guys.
Once he gets over 50 kilometers now, that extra boost, has he got enough of it?
You'll see the orange lights flashing on the mirrors because that means station it's a safety light. But as soon as they select gear, they should go out.
There's the Aston Martin garage. Scotty Gaines, Olympic medalist, the snowboarding alongside his wife Chloe, daughter, I should say, of Lance Stroll's sister, Lawrence Stroll's daughter. I am full of anticipation and keeping my fingers crossed for this start. And you've got the green flag now And the starting procedure with the blue pallets flashing. Here is the crescendo of noise around Albert Park. And now, come on, the lights were all ripped up and ready to go. It's lights out, away we go. Oh, wow, that wasn't the start we've seen before, but it was from Isaac Hadjar. George Russell under pressure. Charles Leclerc coming to join him in the first. Charles Leclerc leads the Grand Prix from George Russell with his action on the ground. Hadjar sweep past him. Lando Norris trying to make position, maintain position in fifth, and he's going wheel to wheel at the moment with Arvid Lindblad, and it's Charles Leclerc who starts brilliantly. George Russell just couldn't get off the line. And behind George Russell comes Isaac Hadjar. Kimi Antonelli has lost places at the start.
Yeah, Antonelli bogged down. Hamilton passed Norris into turn 3. Norris quite cautious on the brakes. He was sort of in the middle of 2 other cars though, but that Ferrari start we've been talking about, it worked out a treat for them, didn't it?
I'm told there was no battery for Kimi Antonelli, hence his problems at the start. New era, and he's already experiencing just how complex it could be. But look, racing here, Esteban Ocon being pursued by Pierre Gasly and going into the left-hander. The racing ball swooped past Isaac Hadjar. Ivan Lindblad having an absolute dream start in his debut here, but will the Red Bull come back at him? Has he used a bit too much battery? We'll see, as it's tactics and deployments and wheel-to-wheel racing, and Lewis Hamilton now gets ahead of Arvid Lindblad because he was just biding his time and strategically.
What an amazing start. God, the Ferraris.
18. This is his first ever start, and he aced it, didn't he? But he's been under a little bit of pressure through the.
Will the Mercedes be able to come back and get the Ferraris?
Worked out beautifully for Ferrari.
There we had Charles Leclerc. Last time we had a big regulation change from 21 into 2022. Charles Leclerc won 2 of the opening 3 Grand Prix that season, and he leads this on lap 2 from George Russell and Lewis Hamilton in 3rd. Isaac Hadjar ahead of Arvid Lindblad, Lando Norris in 6th, then Antonelli, Ocon up to 8th, Gasly up to 9th, and Fernando Alonso in 10th.
That's extraordinary. Verstappen up to 16th. It probably wasn't the first lap I was expecting there, but it's gained places obviously, but two of the drivers weren't on the grid.
Here comes George Russell behind Charles Leclerc, trying to hunt him down on the far side of the lake, trying to go round the outside of the turn line. Charles Leclerc having nothing of it. This is where, on this part of the circuit in qualifying, George Russell was superb. His car superb in battery deployment. And look at that! An exact carbon copy of what he was doing in qualifying yesterday to get ahead of Charles Leclerc. But can Leclerc now fight his way back with maybe a little bit more battery at his disposal? Leclerc is just being thwarted for the time being.
Russell's got a little bit of oversteer coming out of the penultimate corner, but he's got some energy over the line. He should be able to defend down into the first corner, and he's got a boost button as well he can use to keep the motor really flying along. But you might pay a price later on in the lap.
If George was using his boost, then he's going to have a lower battery deployment available to him on this lap, so he could be vulnerable from Charles Leclerc behind him. Meanwhile, his teammate Kimi Antonelli struggling a little bit in these opening stages. He's behind Lando Norris and trying to close in on the McLaren. Start procedure infringement from Franco Colapinto. He is under investigation from the stewards. Fastest man on the track is Lewis Hamilton currently, and he's reduced the arrears to Charles Leclerc by about 8/10 on the lap and a half that we just had.
What an amazing start we've seen. Let us know where you're watching the stream from, guys. Yeah, but this is an amazing start from the Mercedes and the Ferraris. The Mercedes that look strong. That, you know, the initial restart of the race, we all seen it in pre-season testing what the Ferraris are capable of, and this is just amazing. Both Ferraris took positions within way before the first turn. You know, we've seen the Ferraris, and Russell is fighting Leclerc. You already overtook him, but Leclerc is not having none of it. And the Lewis is hunting down George Russell as well.
On the next few laps, And whilst he's got to think about that, he's got to worry about Lewis Hamilton. And that gap now is about a second between Russell and Hamilton.
He's to sit there, minding his own business, optimizing.
God, the Ferraris, they look so strong. When was the last time that you actually saw the Ferraris chasing a car? When was the last time you saw them first and second place leading a Grand Prix? When was the last time we actually saw that? This is actually what is happening right now. And Hamilton having the fastest lap.
Help us understand a lot more as to which driver is facing.
Honestly, don't know what happened to Piastri. I just came into the stream and I was really hoping to see Piastri. And out of nowhere, this guy he apparently crashed on a formation lap or something. I don't know.
The others have run out, and that is boost for you in 2026. If you play around with a boost and you try to make some overtakes, that's fine, but you are going to pay for it a little later on. Spot on, then you might be able to take advantage. There's Kimi Antonelli getting past Martin Leclerc.
So, just put it in perspective, an average British household usually.
Leclerc now just set the fastest lap.
These cars are collecting 80 per lap. Every 60 minutes they collect your house for a day. And that's the kind of electrical energy we're talking about. But they've got to find out how best to deploy it.
So we've lost downforce because the cars are smaller, the aerodynamics have changed, and we've reduced drag by about 55%. It's not the same much, like you're able to follow and keep close to cars in front for a little bit longer than we were having last year at 25.
Yeah. Everybody's wing over it because there's no DRS advantage like that. What they can do, tape mode, if you're within 1 second, it's just very close to the exit corner. More electrical energy. At the moment, that doesn't seem like it's enough to make the big difference. But we don't want easy overtakes.
So Kimi off the line, not the best start he'll ever make. George Russell was kind of going sideways for a minute. Charles Leclerc slicing his way through and into turn one in the lead.
And Lewis got very wide in turn one and had to get out of it. And that actually cost him quite dearly. And as we see, then Lando Norris going past him, and then but Lewis sneaking back up the inside. But otherwise, Lewis would have been right there with George on those opening few corners.
It certainly works. We've got the live pictures on the left-hand side of your screen, and we're watching at the start now with Charles Leclerc. From fourth to first, look at the wheel spin. Kimi Antonelli was getting agile going over to the right. Charles Leclerc wanted to follow, and then the gap opened.
Charles Leclerc literally overtook everyone before turn one. That's how impressive the Ferrari's acceleration is.
So 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's being chased by the Russell now within less than a tenth. This is going to be a close fight all the way to the end. And does he make the move? No, he doesn't. Russell very close to overtake Leclerc.
Right with him here. Back in the background, waiting for these two to
George Hamilton just falling back slightly now, just over 2 seconds. The gap to George Russell. But yeah, impressive start of the race from Lewis Hamilton, gaining 4 places as well. And we have a fight in our hands, folks.
Here we go.
That was very dangerous by Leclerc, especially what we spoke about in pre-pit.
I don't know.
So what they would have spoken about in pre-pit is that because their cars can suddenly slow down and they're charging it towards the end of the straight, you don't really want to be right underneath another car.
What's up with Colapinto? Seems like he's being investigated for something.
But Charles, I don't think stewards will have too much problem with that. That was right on the limit of being dangerous driving.
On board with George Russell as we are now in the seat of Charles Leclerc. Now,
yeah, Verstappen seems to be doing well. Reminded that he started off from the from the pit lane. And yeah, he already made up what 3, 6, 7, 8 places. So if nothing goes wrong, I expect Verstappen to be in top 5. He's currently sitting 15 seconds behind the leader. It's a big gap.
Will be a feature in the top 6 by the end of this race, starting on a hard tire and trying to go long in this first stint.
There'll be some clear air later on, though, to make that work, because you know he's heading towards being a pit stop behind the leaders already.
Oh, look at that! Look at the acceleration from the Mercedes, and he overtakes the Ferraris. It was that easy. Wow! In a straight. That's where the Mercedes seemed to have a lot of dominance on a track. On a straight, the acceleration is just unbelievable. Leclerc having a go at him, and he does. He overtakes Russell. What a fight! Oh my God, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And Russell tries to attack again. Leclerc's not having.
We wanted it to be. It's tactical, it's strategic, and it is high-speed chess out there. What was the lead after there?
Hamilton closing down. Obviously, this is benefiting Hamilton. They both losing track time because they're having to fight and defend each other so often. Comes Russell again and overtakes. Oh, massive lockup. Russell goes wide for Charles Leclerc, overtakes him again. And George and Hamilton just behind him. Oh my God. Look at the gap between Hamilton and Hamilton having a go at Russell now.
George Russell arrived at the corner because he was on the boost, arrived at turn 1.
What an impressive fight.
That's why, too late on the brakes. He'll have a horrendous vibration.
Look how impressive the Russell is able to distance himself from Lewis Hamilton in such a short space.
He did well to change its place, get off the brakes, but to lock the tyre that much at super high speed, you really do trust off that.
Colapinto has a stop and go penalty for a starting position.
Colapinto has been investigated, and I think he's going to go. He's been awarded a penalty. Stop and go.
Fastest lap of the race for him so far. He's bringing himself right into play. Ferrari versus Mercedes. A little bit of a gap back to Hadjar, but not massive, actually.
Stroll is about to be lapped very soon. It's 35 seconds away from the leader.
Not being investigated by the stewards as yet, but they might be taking a look at how Charles Leclerc did it. So stop and go penalty for Colapinto. He's basically going to come in, stop, go back out, and stop his first pit stop. There's the notation for Charles Leclerc. There's the Ferrari, number 16, out the lead. And on your screen, in 10th place now, Max Verstappen. He's got past Ollie Behrman, and he's now up into the top 10, and he's not far behind Pierre Gasly. Colapinto is in the pits, as you can see with the stop work on there, and that's sort of stop and go penalty. We'll take it out the last 20 of the last. Oscar Piastri didn't make it to the grid, crashed on the lap to the grid. Seemed like a torque spike that really caught him out. And Nico Hülkenberg, they wanted to try and start the car on the garage in the pit lane, but that hasn't happened. Big shape for them on their debut in Formula One.
No further investigation for Leclerc's aggressive defence earlier on in the Grand Prix.
Antonelli just set the fastest lap. He obviously didn't start. He didn't have a great start of the race. He lost a couple of places within before turn 1. But yeah, it seems like he's making his way to the top now. Verstappen as well, making his way to the top. Currently in P9, jumping 9 places, 11 places.
Yeah, George Russell, the medium tire, very
Looking very strong. He might be fighting for podium positions.
Yeah, Russell's already been on the radio and told them that he's going to really struggle with that front left tire for whatever their current plan A was. So he's already told that it was. One other to look out for is Hadja. Hadja's been really struggling with the energy management since the beginning of the race. He's getting continuous updates from the pit wall about how to be really a slightly better job. And he's complaining that this isn't what he guys are just sliding backwards from the group ahead. So he's fallen back. The Stanley's captain, lots them up.
There's a very slow Isaac Hadjar, and that
Isaac Hadjar. Oh, it seems like he's going to have to retire the car. Oh. Oh, no. Hadjar, there's a lot of smoke coming from that car.
This is in the pit stop window.
No good.
Right now, lap 12, virtual safety car has been deployed.
Virtual safety car.
If you want to pit now, the loss that you would normally take, but yeah.
Oh, this is no good for the Red Bulls. And everyone is just diving into the pit lane now to change tires. You got a virtual safety car. 3 drivers out so far. What, within 12 laps?
We see the Alpine and the Haas stop as well. Nothing from Max Verstappen as yet. Coming down, and nothing for George Russell. I think he just missed it to George Russell. There's Carlos Sainz making a stop as well, but they have to stop now. It's up to 21 seconds to stop under normal conditions, and only 13 seconds to do a pit stop now. The racing wall's coming as well. I'm expecting to see Russell and potentially Antonelli as well. Keep an eye on whether the Ferraris. You're not seeing the Ferrari mechanics, Crofty, out in the box, but I'm expecting to see them in a moment.
No, top 4 still. Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Antonelli haven't stopped.
So virtual safety car means you got to keep to a adapter time on it. So the earliest time of arrival at various points throughout the circuit, so that they shouldn't gain or lose any track position or track distance, I should probably say. But yeah, and the reason, of course, that you lose just over half.
Oh, what a shame. Isaac Hadjar having to retire. He had such an amazing qualifying lap. And let's see what happens. Yeah, he just lost power. Yeah, this is something, a hydraulic problem, maybe. Yeah, his race is over. Same thing that happened to Max during qualifying. He lost control of his car. The rear axle completely locked. And yeah,
Well, there's a lot of questions on the pit walls right there as to have they done the right thing. Russell, as you went past the accident, gave the information to pit wall, said this is not going to be quick, it's going to be a long VSC. That's good information from pit wall, but they still chose to box the 2 Mercedes. Hamilton immediately, as he went past the pit entry, being told to stay out, said, are we sure this is the right thing, guys? They might have another lap to change that decision if they want to. No disadvantage under the VSC for stopping on the 2nd lap, which is different to a full safety car.
At least one of us should have come in.
He might have a point there, Martin.
Well, of course, they're going to stack the Ferraris as well now. So they'd have been better off doing one that, one the next. But it depends how quickly they're just about wheeling that away, aren't they? So, but because the virtual safety car can end at any time, it's not a question of the safety car coming in, of course. Yeah, and so Lewis is absolutely right.
Marshals have to get back into position. That probably buys them another 10 seconds or so. It's going to be touch and go if Ferrari want to make a stop here. If I was Lewis Hamilton, I'd be saying, I want to come in just because those around have done, and you want to be on the same tyres. But let's see what happens.
Lewis come in the pit lane? No, he doesn't. Does he come in the pit lane? No, he doesn't. You know what they're bargaining on? You know what they're bargaining on? To get further into the race.
I think
we have one of the Mercedes. No, the Ferraris coming into the pit lane. Not yet.
You guys have got a nice margin at the moment and some nice clear air.
Who else is in the pit?
You might have gone green, you might have lost that advantage, went out.
They would have got it. They would have
Resigned
got
to it.
the ending, but they would have got that pit stop done.
They weren't. In hindsight, yes, but I think it was a caution over risk. Track's clear, and we can go racing. Watch the Ferrari. So what's now? That's full turbo.
Track is clear, and we go racing. Ferrari's at the front. Quite surprising that the Ferraris decided not to go into the pit lane, and all the other teams have decided to bring one of the drivers in.
They're learning so much. All of the time.
So you had about 3 laps of a virtual safety car there, Martin. Before Hatters engine went, we had 7 changes of leads in the first 10 laps. If you're just joining us, seriously, you should have set your alarm clocks in the UK and Ireland just a little bit earlier because you've missed so much. But, you know, stick with us. There might be more to come yet.
Still all smooth out, and these regulations are.
Max already in 6th position. I can see Max finish on a podium. There's no reliability issues. Don't rule him out. I'm sure he will be able to catch up Lindblad.
Fernando Alonso, he might be in the pits. There he is. I couldn't see him at first, but he's on our screen now. They weren't expecting to finish the race. Sadly, the end has come on lap 15.
So yeah, I think Alonso just had to retire the car. This is expected. I don't think no one was expecting the Aston Martins to finish the laps. So what happened to Norris? Just watching a replay. Was that massive lockup? No, nothing serious. It's just the cameraman having fun recording Norris going around the track.
So Leclerc leads, Hamilton second, hasn't pitted. Russell third, has pitted. Lindblad.
Russell on a fastest lap again. Personal first sector.
Haven't pitted. Lando Norris. The 9th down to Carlos Sainz at 13th, have pitted.
How did Russell went from?
How are they only 10 seconds?
So far we are on plan. We are focusing on plan A. Plan A.
Which was a one-stop strategy, so you're not going to bring you early to go into a two-stop strategy. Colapinto has been into the pit, but I don't think it's changed.
Antonelli chasing Lindblad. This should be an easy overtake. It should be an easy overtake on the straight now. And yep, overtakes him.
It's a 4th place.
You say it's guaranteed to be 10 seconds behind because you lose a bit over 10. It's in a virtual safety car pit stop, 10 is pointing out, and they were ahead of him anyway by a second or two. Yeah, it's virtually guaranteed. But Ferrari seem confident that.
Yeah, Alonso retired, unfortunately.
There's another safety car, which is
yeah, no one is really expecting them to finish a race, at least for the next three races. So yeah, but yeah, Stroll's still going strong. I don't know how long it will take them until they ask him to come in, retire the car.
I get past him. Can I get past him? I'm going to try it at turn 3. They're banging wheels down at turn 3. Perez is still ahead of Liam Lawson. That's been a right old scrap, that has. These two, when they get on the track together, there is a bit of excitement that follows. Tony Collins, he's on the hard tyre here, so Perez on the medium, but those that put the hard tyre on behind the virtual safety car, can they go to the end?
Well, this is the thing, Coffee. We just do not know. We think these tyres are.
Lawson lost so many places. What happened? I just only just realized it now.
And the reason that we're seeing these different strategies, for example, between Lawson and Perez, Lawson has done Perez.
Sainz won 9 places. The Williams, they seem to be doing well, going up. They won 9 in 2 places respectively. Verstappen, obviously, the biggest winner.
Leans in, you work the inside of the tyre, and that's exactly what we're seeing there. from Verstappen. So the hard compact tyre, they can start to clean that grading up, but that doesn't look particularly good.
That's not the case for Mercedes if they're trying to go to the end now on the hard tyre. We have some battery graphics to show you when it's been deployed and when it's been recharged. While we watch those, Ted has words from the pit lane.
I think it's about right that Red Bull don't think that Mercedes can do the rest of the race 45 laps on the hard tyre. They're looking at a two-stop. I think they were all open-minded on tyre strategies properly. It was probably the least of their worries, wasn't it, given all the demands from the power unit. So expecting to see Max Verstappen in on 5 or 10 laps time. We'll sort out the second spot later in this brilliant race.
Thanks, Ted. Now, Arvid Lindback might be a bit vulnerable here because Max Verstappen has way more battery power than Arvid Lindback, as overtake is enabled for him as well. So there's an extra half a megajoule from that. His battery is more topped up, even going into the section.
Lindblad having to fight Verstappen. I don't think it will last long. He's becoming very vulnerable. Being chased by one of the greatest drivers in Formula One.
It's amazing that one of them hasn't lost the passport. They're rather massive on the side of the car. That's so critical to the airflow. And this is where it's going to happen. It's happening anywhere. And look, the wheels are intertwined in some.
Paris with Lawson fight. They almost crashed.
Cadillac.
Oh, Cadillac.
Lost one Aussie before.
Cadillac.
Might have lost the honorary Aussie on lap 18 here.
One of the Cadillacs is on the side of the track. Oh.
Ferrari will be very happy about that indeed, as long as they close.
Is that Bottas or Paris?
Just about to say that, Martin. Will they close the pit lane entry? Another virtual safety car. So Bert Myland is still.
This is another opportunity for the Ferraris to come in now. And yeah, Bottas having to retire. Just outside of the entry of the pit wall. I had a wild predictions that and now we've seen a lot of cars diving into the pit lane. Lindblad, Verstappen, and Oliver Behrman. Whew. Let's see if Max is able to. Oh no, that's close. Max Verstappen almost was able to overtake Lindblad on a pit lane. But the Racing Bulls, an amazing display of changing wheels, and Lindblad is able to remain in his place, to keep his place. So we already have 5 retirements so far. I wonder how many more we're going to see.
Ferrari didn't come straight into the pits. I thought the timing was absolutely right.
I had a prediction that all of both cars from Cadillac and Aston Martin would retire. So far, we have one of each.
Yeah, I need to go back and check through it properly, but I think I was just too far ahead of the pit entry. They didn't have the opportunity that others did.
I'm hearing their lead strategist, also known as Lewis Hamilton, is not too happy.
Pit lane entry closed.
Now closed, so Ferrari didn't see that one coming, did they?
It's funny, you did. You want a job at least.
I tell you what I did. Was Bernadette Collins, strategist, told me. So I won't claim that for myself.
Yeah, she knows a thing or two. Marshall's on the track, so they have to approach it.
Let's see what happens.
What happens about Bottas? I think he was told to stop.
I think he, yeah, what happened? I think he just lost power. Yeah, yes, we can see like he was going through turn just before the entry of the pit lane, and he's starting to lose a lot of power, maybe on a hydraulic issue. Max Verstappen trying to overtake Lindblad, and he does. And he does. But Lindblad fights back. He's not having none of that. This fight's not going to last very long.
Turn 3 covers it. The 18-year-old is keeping his head under extreme pressure, and there's nothing between these two teams anymore where there's
Lindblad, wow, Racing Bulls are able to fight the Red Bulls in the opening laps. I didn't see this coming.
World champion for 1,457 consecutive days, pulling off overtake after overtake, and will sometimes, and he's going to.
And he does.
The young rookie Armin Lindblad.
He does. Red Bull. Max moves into 6.
Gabriel Bortoletto and moves up into 9th place.
Safety car, but Bernie said that she
Mercedes and McLaren's, they're looking very strong. Now leading the race.
My tyres are still okay. Did not box me the same time.
Lewis is thinking, how can I just gain a bit of an edge on my teammate here?
do not box me at the same time. I do not want to sit in the pit lane waiting behind him. Thank you very much. And then you've got to get all your restarts sorted out with your turbo. So it's quite a bit of graining on his front left. But he just saying, don't stack us. Don't stack us.
The thing is, everyone will have to stop and get of the leading contenders. So whilst it might look like Ferrari are just out of finish here, right behind Esteban Ocon, tries to squeeze down into turn 3, and Ocon gets hit by the front left tyre of the Alpine and then has to move off and out of the way. Gasly's up to 10th place. But Ferrari, they need to stop. They haven't stopped yet. The other leading contenders are all going to have to stop again. Luckily that they've not lost out. They can put a decent pace in these next few laps. And that could be a big hit looking at the pace of the two Mercedes.
Nicely, they set it down against Ferrari's in 123. So that's 122.6 on his fresher tyres. So you can't have to think that the Mercedes is the faster car in this race. But Ferrari have done well with getting track position, mostly because it's smart.
Leclerc leads from Hamilton.
How is Norris 15 points, 15 seconds behind the Mercedes? How did that happen? Even with the safety car being deployed, they obviously had to slow down. How is that even possible? 15 points. And obviously, Max Verstappen is closing in. Only 4 seconds behind Norris now.
The 5 British drivers are all in the top 8. Apologies to the 15 other or the 14 other nationalities in this race, but why the Union flag?
One of them, the world champion, is not going to beat Norris back to start catching it very quickly in every sector of the lap. So for some reason, and
everyone has stopped except the Ferraris. I still don't understand why the Ferraris are hesitating to come into the pit lane. We already had 2 safety cars. Sergio Perez being overlapped by the Ferraris.
You want to get to the checkered flag, but
that is not looking good. Only 23 laps in. Yeah, Stroll, Aston Martins and the Cadillacs already being overlapped by the Ferraris.
It's still off the pace. So we'll see how the rest of the afternoon unfolds. Ollie Behrman is right at the back of Arvid Lindblad as well now.
Ollie Behrman is second full season in Formula One. Having a much better Australian Grand Prix than he had down here in Albert Park last year.
I mean, the gap between first place, the first two drivers, and the top, I don't know, top 5 is so massive. It's extremely massive. It seems like most drivers will be overlapped at some point.
Investigation. Sergio Perez. They're forcing another drive off the track with Liam Lawson. Stewart's having a little look at that one. Gap in the front, 1.7 seconds between Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton.
If you look, Antonelli's like 12 points, 12 seconds ahead of the leader. Then we have Norris 28 seconds. Then we have Max 32 seconds. Then 37, 39, 42, 44, 45, 48, 51, 63. This is over a minute now.
Just being told the referee on the pit wall. I know you're worried about the front line.
And Colapinto 76 seconds behind. Literally, the bottom four are in the risk. The bottom, I don't know, from P11, from P10, all the way to P17, they all at risk of being overlapped by the Ferraris and the Mercedes.
Mercedes the way it needs to be. So Ferrari then was there deploying, regenerating, obviously in exactly the same way. And unsurprisingly, they were circling around, circulating.
Colapinto and Ocon and Gasly being investigated for from some madness on the track.
Looks ugly. His front left tire, you can see that sort of dark stripe on it as he comes down the pit straight now. It's front left.
It's not pretty, is it? And he was 7/10 of a second slower. Charles Leclerc on lap 24. Charles Leclerc leading this race, trying to do something that no one has ever done in the hybrid era here in Albert Park, and that's win this Grand Prix from outside the top three on the grid. He started fourth in this race.
Are we going to see a domination from the Ferraris? 1-2.
Agile down the race. So still.
So what happened here?
In that order in an Albert Park F1 race.
Ocon. Oh, there was a crash between Ocon and Gasly.
Here at Albert Park, where the teammates crashed into each other and were out of the race and through. What would have been a sensational finish for on that day? They're under investigation.
That's not good. So now we've seen Leclerc's going into the box. It's been asked to go into the box.
Box and stop. It is the international praise for we want to see you in the pit lane, please. Ted is down there. I know.
This is going to be interesting because Lewis Hamilton will have to come into the pits in the next few laps. So it'll be interesting to see if
the race time Ferrari have given away race time that they could have had by stopping now. Yes, it's onto the hard tires. Yes, this is target lap.
that was a pretty sweet.
They've just given away loads of lap time to Mercedes. See what happens to Lewis Hamilton. He's trying for a DSC. I don't know whether he's going to get it. Where he might get it, Martin, is that the Aston has rejoined the race. Fernando Alonso has had a nice little time in the pits. He's got the feeling back in his hands. Rejoined the race. Yeah, how many laps down? 10 laps down?
Yeah, it still says on the timing screen that he's in the pits, but you're right.
Alonso just rejoined the race.
Absolutely sure he's on the soft tyres. And well done to Lance Stroll for making it past the 15 laps. In fact, we're now 25 laps where he felt he couldn't continue because of the vibrations, causing nerve damage to his finger.
Well, look, there's four drivers definitely out of this race. If they can't...
Alonso just rejoined the lap. Just rejoined the race. He's literally 10 laps behind, 11 laps behind.
Ferrari's sticking to their guns and the strategy that they wanted going into this race. And Russell and Antonelli are still going to have to pit again. If you haven't got the pace of the Mercedes, Hamilton's carrying on again. If you can't beat Mercedes pace for pace throughout the race, you've got to try a different strategy.
You have. It feels like a mistake, doesn't it? Because they're now, if Mercedes have got to pit again, which we expect they will, they'll have much fresher tyres at the end of the Grand Prix anyway. So there's the grainy you can see on his front tyre. Lewis was really wrestling that car on the previous lap. I was somewhat surprised he didn't come in to the pit lane. And what he's trying to do is get a tyre offset against his teammate. If he can get 2 or 3 laps further on these, he'll have fresher tyres and a better chance of getting to the end than his teammate Charles Leclerc.
Bernie Collins.
Yes, just as that graph actually show you the difference between the Ferrari and the Mercedes strategy. Mercedes, that was 10 seconds ahead.
Hamilton leading the race now. Will have to come into the pit at some point. He's just holding in there with old tyres.
certain fleet that we know is coming with lots of retirements that we're seeing through houses. So the Mercedes is, once they get another season, will have saved a full pit loss effectively and have quicker tyres for the stints in between.
Aston Martin decided to bring Fernando Alonso back into the garage after making some adjustments to their car. That's why he's rejoined the race. And here's the race for the lead. Lewis Hamilton hasn't pitted yet. Lap 27 of 58, and he's got a gap of about 9/10 of a second to George Russell. Russell has pitted. Every single driver has been into the pits in this race, other than Lewis Hamilton, two-time winner.
Alonso just rejoined the race. We all thought he retired, but he was just sitting in the garage for a while now. He's literally 11 laps behind Antonelli on the flying lap. No, he's not. He just set the fastest. He has the fastest lap so far. Yeah, Russell seems like he's going to overtake Lewis on old tires.
In terms of laps. George Russell hasn't got past Lewis Hamilton yet, but it's coming. It really is coming. And there's a gap on the inside. Russell's going to take it.
And he overtakes.
Takes the lead
Yeah.
of the Australian Grand Prix. It's another Ferrari he's had to overtake. Not Charles Leclerc this time. He's bitten and he's down.
Is Ferrari going to have a go at Russell? No.
27 laps.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's pointless for Lewis Hamilton to try to fight Russell. He has to dive into the pit lane, and he does. Lewis in the pit lane. Is he going to lose a place to Leclerc, or is he going to be able to overtake him? No, Leclerc just coming out, yeah, miles ahead of him. He remains in third, Leclerc, but the gap between Leclerc and now Antonelli is just 15 seconds. It's a massive gap.
He got disqualified in Spa because he won the race, but he basically used the tire twice.
So everyone has pitted so far. Obviously, Aston Martins have pitted twice, both drivers. One of the drivers being overlapped. Once Cadillac have been lapped as well. And Alonso just basically is 11 laps behind because he was sitting in a pit lane for a very long time. We actually thought he retired the car. Sainz gained 9 points, 9 positions. Pierre Gasly gained 4 positions, whilst Behrman 4 positions. Obviously, Max Verstappen being the person who gained the most positions starting from the pit lane. Yeah, Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon are being investigated for creating a collision between the two. So let's see if the FIA will punish them. FIA, the stewards.
Okay. Virginia Water, the birthplace of the Chelmsford, the birthplace of Oliver. Surrey against Essex. Out on the track currently. Rookie against driver going into his 28th Grand Prix. I think he's done really, really well so far this weekend. He led his teammate Liam Lawson for every session. Practice and qualifying for the last lap in Q3, but he's now racing. He did more laps than anyone else in Bahrain in the second test. He cope with the demands of these cars, but under racing conditions, he's just super impressive.
With Verstappen in his mirrors, he's hoping to start first lap, and he's going to.
Yeah, Liam Lawson is not having a good race. He's the driver with the most lost positions, and it seems like he's struggling. Yeah, it will be the next driver to be lapped. Colapinto already been lapped. I didn't even notice that.
lap with that much pressure hard tire. That's what they're banking on. They can close that safety car window.
I don't think we ever seen this in Formula One. There's a possibility that half of the grid will be overlapped by the top 4 teams.
Safety car window is a gap. Where would you even avoid on track if there was a safety car?
The gap is just too big
On the left.
between the top 4 drivers, between the top 3 teams. I mean, I would just say the top 2 teams. Norris is not even that fast. He's currently 26 seconds off the pace.
And they are pushing now, half a second a lap. Get that safety car window closed.
Meanwhile, from the informative to the ridiculous, have you noticed that Ollie Burton has changed the bear on his helmet just for Australia? He got a little koala sat there in his eucalyptus tree just for Australia. Well done to the bear for that. Lando Norris won last year from pole position, 12 months off the defending champion. Been a very different Australian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen is right on his tail now. And it's getting a bit windy for George Russell. Just 25 kph, quite near Port Phillip Bay. And the wind comes off the sea here, Martin. That could be something to take into consideration.
Lando's flat left. Horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, Verstappen is closing in. Verstappen is closing in. Less than 2 seconds now separating the 2 drivers. Reminder that Max started from the pit lane. The McLarens, they don't look too good. 8 miles away off the pace. Miles away, 27 seconds off the car ahead of him, which is Lewis Hamilton. 27 seconds.
George Russell, who won the only 2 Grand Prix he led last season in Canada and Singapore, is back in the lead of 6 seconds clear of his teammate Kimi Antonelli.
She took back Bortoletto in the Audi in 9, decent lap times as well, in the World Championship points at the moment. So, whilst Nico Hulkenberg sadly has long retired, the Audi in its first Grand Prix is in the points.
Gary Barlow in the McLaren garage, and Norris is nearly a little in 2026.
We're thinking of going to the end, but let's know what you think about tyres.
There's going to be a break.
Okay, copy, we'll monitor.
Phew. Mercedes are trying to go all the way to the end with Antonelli's tyres. Wow. Wow. I'm not so sure if that is going to work.
Lewis Hamilton has been running in tyres before. Exactly worn out, are they? So,
it's a bit bang on the watchdog scratch.
Yeah.
Did you do 26 laps on a major? No, not at this rate, because I just read tyres after 10.
Not even a maybe. Lando Norris, and I like that. It's affirmative. No, not going to happen. You're going to have to think of something else. Meanwhile,
Max Verstappen closing in 0.8 of a second just behind him.
At his disposal, Lando Norris has drained his battery, and Max can gain a lot of ground. And behind him, going into that corner. Let's see though, out of it.
And 12.
Norris can stick ahead of what we watched.
I don't think Norris will last much longer.
There are going to be some second stops. Now that's going to be 3 or 4 laps time. That's the premium time. That's the spot on lap. I can see Max down here in various pit garages. People thinking about it. Crofty, do interrupt if the old Norris Verstappen rivalry is going to be revisited. Let me tell you about Pierre Gasly going really well in the Alpine. Alpine have not had a good weekend so far.
Oh, virtual safety car set.
Oh, what happened? Virtual safety car.
That's why we've got a VSC. Okay. Turn 8. Marshals are just collecting a piece of carbon fibre that's on the outside.
Someone crashed or someone left pieces of their own car on the track.
Well done, Kimi Antonelli, staying way to the left. Goal 2.
This is the gift for Mercedes.
What happened?
I think it's going to end quickly. George Russell's coming to turn 11. The debris came from Sergio Perez.
Yeah, Sergio Perez car just leaving pieces of on the track. Unusual. This happened in qualifying as well. He lost his side mirror. I think it was in FP3. And yeah, track is clear now. The battle continues between Norris and Max. Yeah, this is going to be an easy overtake. So close.
With just one split second, nothing doing. So turn 12 we go. Verstappen, who started this race in 20th, looking for the top 5 currently as Lando Norris.
Norris dives into the pit lane. So, yeah.
No point continuing the battle with Max Verstappen. It wasn't one that they felt he was going to win. So now a pit stop. Well, here's the fact: 1.9 seconds they were doing in previous years.
I'll see how this pit stop goes. Very small, very slow for their standards, but decent. 2.5 seconds is actually a good stop.
When they really get up to speed, I'd expect them to be under 2 seconds again.
Let's go back.
Yeah, so the people who get hit along with Lando Norris, both Williams, Sainz had a very slow pit stop. He's having enough troubles as it is, saying on the radio he can't race like this. I wonder if he was told earlier when he was right behind his teammate Alex Albon to hold station. They were pretty slow anyway.
So all the drivers up to P12 have been overlapped. So that's how many drivers so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just put 6 because Alonso was in a pit lane for most of these race. So he was asked to retire the car. They investigated the car and they brought him out again. So literally 7 cars have been lapped already. At this race, all the drivers, all the way up to P8, Norris, are at the risk of being overlapped. Oh, so we now Alonso eventually retires the car.
By Ferrari having much fresher tyres towards the end of this race. Verstappen, you feel, is going to have to pit again as well. He's on 17-lap-old medium tyres. They're committed to a 2-stopper. But that front left for George Russell, that looks to be draining quite significantly.
Burn through that, but yeah, that's a tall order to do that. And it is in the 22s now though again. But if you can't make it, got to pit early enough. You can't start losing time. And then you lose yourself not enough laps on the fresh tyres to compensate for a pit stop. So if George stopped now, he'd come out side by side with Lewis Hamilton, but behind Antonelli, and who soon has to again as well. But so now into the 22s, Leclerc just had a scrappy lap. I won 24.3. Looking at the driver traffic, does not appear to have passed anybody and to get through traffic.
I think he was trying to lap Michael Colapinto, and that's what cost him a little bit of time. Fernando Alonso's out of the race. Third components, Aston Martin can retire the Spanish driver from the Australian Grand Prix. Black, Behrman, Norris, 3 British drivers, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Norris catching them at a rate of knots. Ollie Behrman hasn't been able to get up close to Arvin Lindblad in the racing bulls. I think Lando Norris, after the second pit stop, should make light work of this. Would have thought.
It's really around very large skulls and timing as well. That the McLaren moving around under acceleration, but I guess what Lando's got to be sure he doesn't do on a brand new car because he's actually just opened the surface up straight away.
Any comments? What you got?
Yeah, I was just going to say, that was a big moment of decision for Russell, I think, from leading this race. The 1 or 2 stop, they need to be control on it quickly. The reason being, Lewis Hamilton in P4 is 22.3 seconds behind, and the pit window is
23 seconds.
20-ish. I was going to go.
Was
20-ish.
allowed for slow pit stop.
Well, yeah. So I think that Lewis has just been released from a lot of cars with blue flags. So if Russell wants to cover Lewis, not under car, probably needs to be in the next lap or two. How confident are they in either a one-stop working from here or another safety car?
Or a bigger tyre offsets, leaving a few backs to get an overtake job.
I think they're going to try and get to the end. And while they're still lapping both of them faster than both Ferraris, just at the moment.
Norris having a go. Berman, he takes the place.
Spin on his head. That's why.
And yeah, next in line, Lindblad. Lindblad having an amazing race. It's been impressive throughout the entire pre-season testing and qualifying as well.
Yeah, Gasly. Said around here, these two leave nothing in the locker. And getting a nice slipstream. And then when the Alpine just starts recharging the battery, then Ocon decides that's the moment to not think about recharging and to think about overtaking, because you can employ that little bit extra. That's the sort of tactics you're going to have to employ in 2026. Science is catching Colin Pitt, so players just set a fastest lap for the race. Norris is now off the Lindblad.
Ferrari just only do is go and put Mercedes under pressure, force them into doing something they may not want to do, pushing these tyres harder or pitting.
Yeah, Verstappen, Norris now overtakes Lindblad. Very straightforward move. No fight from Lindblad.
Significantly quicker than Max Verstappen. He's racing Max Verstappen in this race currently. That is Gabriel Bortoleto getting past Esteban Ocon and up into 10th place. So we've got all the new rules for brakes, and the way that we go racing is very different. We've got a tyre offset, set strategy offset as well, combining, Martin, to give us one of the more interesting Australian Grand Prix without the aid of rain for a while.
The drivers are having to get the move done themselves. And they're having to sort it out when they get there, and they have to be quite feisty with their defence as well. So
yeah, they seem like they look to be overtaking very soon. They a minute to 10 seconds. So the average lap time is 1 minute 22. So literally 22, roughly about 12 seconds. About from being overtaken. This Behrman in 7th position.
Behind up in Lindblad, he left that a little bit late, didn't he? Wowzers. Now watch the exit from the corner, because he's used up a lot of battery, has Ollie Behrman there. Lindblad's come back at him. Behrman's got the inside line, and he's just about held on to that 7th place. So get the
Lindblad having a go at Oliver Behrman. It's quite an interesting fight between the two young drivers. He's very close, and he's not letting Oliver Behrman go. Is he gonna have a go? And he will, and he does, and he does overtake. No, he doesn't. Oliver Behrman has the inside.
Wow, that was really rapid through 9 and 10, but now he's having to start recharging really, really early, and that then allows Lindblad to come back at it. So just think what the Lord giveth, he taketh away when it comes to battery usage here. And if you can understand that, you've got a press.
It's an interesting fight.
A little bit beyond the throttle we saw coming out of a couple of turns as well. And he's just calm that down now, keep his head calm, and see if he can come back at Ollie Behrman.
Yeah, Gasly on that same stretch of track that we saw Ben and Lindblad slapping away, getting past Esteban Ocon. Bortoletto is between the two of them now. You can just see the Audi pulling out behind Ocon and going wheel to wheel down the straight. So from top to bottom, places swapping all the time. And let's just keep you up to date with the gap out in front. 6.5 seconds.
Leon Lawson is not having a good race. It seems like he's the only driver that lost position.
George Russell in fourth. Ferrari going for a one-stop strategy. Russell's tyres looked pretty angry. How do you get them to the end, or is he going to have to stop again?
Let's try and get up one more time.
What then? Lap 42. Anything can happen at lap 42. We might be a bit far back on this time around, but Max Verstappen's coming in as expected on the
Max in the pit.
back up into to fifth place.
So Max has pitted already twice. No, that's his second pit stop.
That medium was never going to make it to the end. And now onto the hard tyre again. But yeah, Martin Crofty, Bernie, if you're wanting to see if Mercedes can walk see the Russell or Antonelli, I've got to tell you, a bit of tumbleweed down here has just passed through the Mercedes. Nothing at the moment. They might be running out of laps. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen.
Thank you very much indeed.
We're keeping them on the show then.
Verstappen on the hard tires now. So it seems like he's gonna go all the way to the end. And Norris as well is gonna go all the way to the end with the mediums.
Verstappen will quite easily repass Norris given the fresh tyres, but we're keeping an eye on that. But it's really tense at the front, and if Mercedes start to hit the cliff.
Look at the difference between fifth place and fourth. It's 32 seconds gap. And the gap is so massive. The Ferraris and the Mercedes, they have unbelievable pace, race pace. This is not even a competition. If this disparity continues throughout the season, then we already know who's fighting for championship at this point. 33 seconds behind. Obviously, Norris and Verstappen will be able to close the gap because the Mercedes and the Ferraris, I think they're on old tires, and as the race progresses, they're going to lose the race pace, whereas Norris and Verstappen, they have fresh tires, so they'll be able to close in the gap. But even so,
just to remind you, Russell and Antonelli are 31 laps into these tyres already. Leclerc 17 into his, and Hamilton just 14. We saw him getting that offset, so they're sitting there ready. And, but Russell still have been late 1 minute 22. So Hamilton again in the mid 22s, beginning to edge back towards Charles Leclerc too.
Laura Muller, race engineer for Esteban Ocon, keeping him on the straight and narrow and keeping him abreast of exactly what he needs to try and get back past Pierre Gasly and up into the points once more. Laura Muller and Hannah Schmitz, the recipients of a brilliant honour on this International Women's Day. Corner 6, turn 6, in her corner. And for
Ocon having a fight with Pierre Gasly, trying to get into the point positions.
the fastest man on track. Just simply coming up behind that Gasly Ocon.
Max closest past the first in third sector, fastest lap so far. He's on a fresh tyres, so I think he's going to push for the next 5 or 10 laps.
So they should get at that. It's always risky when two drivers are really fighting each other. They're reluctant.
Yeah, the Williams don't look too good. Having a Mercedes power unit completely outside of the points.
While we just debate that one, Marcus Dudley has just been on the team radio to George Russell to say We are going to the end. Stand by for action then. Well, the Ferraris are going to have to pick up some pace here.
Yeah, they've got a lot of data off the car, of course, including the tyres, a huge amount of data about the tyres. So it's not the driver knows what it feels like, but they've got enough knowledge of technically how that relates to tyre wear across the surface. So they're saying that for a position of knowledge rather than a go home.
So, Russell and Antonelli. You'd imagine Antonelli going to the end too.
Verstappen is pushing hard. He knows now's his best chance on you.
The reply that we hear from Lando Norris on the medium tyre has been for 10 laps. Max Verstappen back on the hard tyre. They sold 2 sets of hard tyres at Red Bull, which might have been a very good decision and really catching Lando Norris now.
I don't think we'll have an answer, to be honest, when it gets there. But we're about to find out. Hamilton is still doing best with best. 1 minute 22s. 4 seconds to declare. Bringing himself into play by Lewis Hamilton. And if you not can get to it and carry this kind of speed, but that includes lapping one car with lapping 2 cars actually. So that's why George is a little bit sloppy. That's not bad lap, so it's got past 2 cars.
Into turn 1 we go. Norris ahead of Verstappen, lapping the 5th and 4-6. See how the gap has been closing over the last 3 laps. With Max Verstappen since he made that pit stop. Sergio Perez has just come in on the pit stop. Cadillac, their first race in Formula 1. They've been simulating races all of last season. Back in the factory in Silverstone. This time they're doing it for real. They've got 1 car left after Valtteri Bottas was told to stop just before the pit lane. Focusing on Gasly and Ocon once again. Ocon catching Pierre Gasly. Just taking your time, riding your time, pulling up the tyres a little bit. Now go for it once more.
It's for the final World Championship point at the moment in 10th place. It can be critical for both of those teams.
Yeah, we've been talking about that Colapinto science fight. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen have managed to get a real close-up ringside seat for that one because they're right on their tail and maybe about to lap. Well, Bernie Collins, to you.
Yeah, just got to find out quickly, properly. Here's Hamilton's actually lapping a little bit quicker than Charles Leclerc. Somewhere between 2 to 5 tenths a lap quicker consistently. So when he gets to Leclerc, now they're both in the air, when he gets there, it's Lewis Hamilton the best chance of chasing down the Mercedes. And what will Ferrari do? Hopefully, they're already discussing.
Carlos Sainz came into the pits, so that was the end of close-up ringside seat for those two, for Norris and Verstappen, with Colapinto and Sainz. What's the lap time? It's 1:23.7. George Russell last lap. 1:23.0. Antonelli, Leclerc, and Hamilton in the high 1:22s. Ted, let's go down to you.
So Sainz had a damaged front wing. I don't know if we saw that, Crofty, or whether there's any Williams debris. But with these front wings now being attached with various hydraulic and electric lines going in so that they can drop the front wing up and down again with a link, it took them about 15 to 20 seconds to change that front wing of Carlos Sainz. So this year, with those front wings and the complexity, having to get the connectors all lined up, there really is much more of a penalty if you have a clonk out there and need to come and box and change your front wing like Carlos Sainz does. What a miserable weekend. How much was hoped for Williams for this weekend?
10 laps left. Some stacking. Verstappen is going to obviously overtake Norris at this stage. I don't think there's much Norris can do. He's still on fresh tyres as well. 11 laps only.
Then, of course, the Ferraris have got to get past, including Sainz as well now. Sainz came out of the pits behind the 2 Mercedes.
Max Verstappen. 2 car lengths between himself and Lando Norris there. You're right, Martin. Lando's not really got anything to fight Max Verstappen with. Red Bull are targeting top 8 finish for Max Verstappen, given the 4 big teams, as it were, the top 4 teams had a pace advantage over the rest. 20th on the grid, a 5th place finish for Max will be, I think, about cause for a ripple of applause, but they'll be worried about that power unit issue that happened to Isaac Hadjar and why he had to retire from this race a long, long time ago.
So that was doing 22.7s now, which is quicker than all 4 drivers in front of him on the last lap round. So he's definitely, now the fuel load's gone down and with the pressure tyres, and he's holding Max at bay better than I perhaps feared he would.
So we're into the last 10 laps of this race. George Russell set for a 6th career race victory. Look how leery that Red Bull was on the exit of the final turn. Mercedes set for a 1-2 finish. And their first 1-2 finish without Lewis Hamilton involved since 1955. Certainly would. Well, let's see. Incredible. 61st 1-2 finish in total. Only their third since the start of 2020. If there's one thing I am definitely sure of this weekend, Mercedes are very glad to say bye-bye and auf Wiedersehen to the ground effect regulations. Never really enjoyed it. Still got a few laps to go.
This is encouraging for Mercedes there with the 9 laps to go, including it's still in 1 minute 22.
If you're Max Verstappen, do you fancy a little late dive on the brakes here? Try and get past Lando Norris, who's already harvesting energy before they get to the application, a chance to dive down the inside, but he's gaining and gaining. And
Norris just hanging in there, being chased by the Red Bulls.
Still, my tactics, my battery, my foot flat to the floor. Try and get this top 5 finish with the fastest man on the track towards the end of this. What a different race it could have been had he not had that issue into turn 1 yesterday that saw him out in Q1. And an incident the team was still investigating to find out exactly what did go wrong.
Yeah, because they 2 stopped and the 4 ahead of them have only 1 stopped. They're 54 for Verstappen. That's a turnaround from the last couple of seasons, isn't it?
Certainly is. The Lindblad been told that the boost is not available to him. That's going to cost him a lot of horsepower. Currently in 8th place with Gabriel Bortoletto behind him. Last lap, Bortoletto was actually slower, but I think the boost isn't available. It's now on this particular lap. That 51 of 58. We've lost Alonso, Bottas, Hadjar,
Verstappen so close.
He's back out on the track. The gap between Russell and Leclerc, 15 seconds. The gap between Russell and Hamilton, 18 seconds. Ferrari haven't got the pace of the Mercedes, and they're not making inroads. In fact, looking at where the 2 Ferraris are, they're trying now to lap Ocon and Gasly with Charles Leclerc, and that might be costing him just a little bit of time. Lando keeps banging in, quick lap after quick lap, and he's keeping Max Verstappen very much at bay here.
And just 3.2 behind Charles Leclerc now, so is edging closer to him. Norris, so Max is tied just 9 laps old, 16 laps old. It's ominous because the Mercedes out front have done 38 laps on the tyres, and they're all lapping around the same lap time.
Seems like Norris is able to defend Max all this time. I was not expecting him to hold him off for so long.
With that boost, to give him that extra pace and try and put Lando under pressure.
You can see how much these drivers have learned during this Grand Prix. How to manage these new power units, because they're looking much more normalised, isn't it? Than the opening few laps. Now they're beginning to work out where they need to charge.
Lewis closing in the gap now, just under 3 seconds. Are we going to see Lewis getting his first podium in 2 years?
Very dissimilar speeds Yeah, you really can be 30 miles an hour faster.
7 laps to go. People should do one. Thanks.
Have got a podium, Lewis Hamilton here in Australia since 2023. That places off the podium currently. Zach Brown watching, tensely unsure from the McLaren pit wall here. Lando's doing a decent job of keeping Max at bay, Zach, but Max is getting that bit closer, I think, here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. It's going to be tough, sure, but you know who I'm cheering for.
So Lando seems to sort of found much more of a rhythm in the second half of the race. It's sort of race leading pace. I know he's got pressure tyres, but it just seems to have found something or learned something.
No issue. I think we're learning as we're going here. All this deployment and where to recharge. So he's doing a great job. 5 to go, but Max looks like he's sizing him up.
And have you had a chance to speak to Oscar since he got back to the pits?
Yeah, I did very briefly before the start of the race. He's obviously told to shake it off. We got another race coming up. But, disappointing race, but
Can you give us any indication of what happened? Was it a combination of cold tyres, driver error, spike in torque? What was the situation, Zach?
we didn't see anything on the data. I think there was a spike. The torque, of course, your tires aren't full speed, so we got to do a full download with him and look at the data. But maybe be on.
Thanks ever so much, Zach. I'll let you get back to watching the battle unfold. I think Max has used that boost, and he is trying to force Lando to use the boost himself in retaliation and take him to a place he might not want to be.
We haven't got data watching for these two, but that's the turn 6 through 7 now. But where you need your battery high, without obviously charging nicely through the slow